It's a lovely good afternoon to everyone who is watching Camnet, which is Camnet, not just another channel. And it's, for me, it's overwhelming to bring you this sports show for the first time and the first ever episode on Camnet TV, which will be looking at sports, obviously, looking at the title which is there, which is Off the Pitch. We'll be giving you a lot of news concerning the Zambian League, and that's mostly our target. And I'll be your host, Amos, aka Amore. I won't add up the last name. But anyway, I'm not alone on set. I'm joined by my fellow, I can call him fellow soccer analyst. His name is Augustine Mwanza. Oga.
Thank you very much, Amos. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be on the show.
Yeah, and for me personally, I'm looking forward into having a lot of episodes with you, looking at, it's being the first episode today, we need to more of give an expansion on where we are planning to take our show to. And mostly, I would say, for you, our viewers out there, this show mostly, it's a show that is there to promote our local leagues. When I mean our local leagues, I mean the Zambian League mostly. Because in as much as we like watching these leagues, I'm a Premier League, Fifimbi, but mostly for us, this show, the concentration is mostly on the Zambian League. And before we go into details of the information that we have over the coming back of the league and what's happening in the Zambian League so far, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. That was our ad, Msika. It's easy. All you have to do is just contact those numbers that you've seen on the ad. Msika is something that each and every one of you who is owning a business, who can advertise with us at Camnet here just for a 150. We get to play your ad from 7. Brought to you guys, which is coming on Camnet TV, not another channel. Anyway, we all know that the league has been off due to the coronavirus that struck the whole world, and it's good that the president gave a go-ahead to say on the 18th, the league has to resume. Yeah. And looking at the table itself, we are looking at Forest, who is topping the table. But before we go into that, how is it to you as a person who has been following the Zambian League? How overwhelming was it for you to hear that the league is returning?
I think it was a great feeling to have the league back on, because the last time that the league was being played was on the 8th of March, when Zesco United took on Green Buffalo Football Club at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, which ended in a 1-0 draw. Now, during this whole pandemic, we've been having instances where the league could have been cancelled. There were possibilities that the league could have been cancelled. There were possibilities that maybe we would have had the points per game ratio, which would have determined the champions and the teams that qualify for the continental football. But it's good that the league is back so that everything is finished on the pitch, on the field of play, not in the boardroom whereby it could have been null and void. There was that which was being talked about. So teams like Forest Rangers would have lost out because they are pushing for the title.
Oh yeah, but looking at the players, do you think the momentum is going to be the same? Because we all know that once the league resumes, it will be just more of in a field whereby there are no supporters in there. Yeah. How are you looking at the momentum for the players?
It will be very different because there are certain teams like, let me give an example, like Nkana Football Club. They've got a very large
huge
following.
yeah.
So this will have a big impact on them because they won't be having the fans behind them. Wherever they play, they always attract huge fans. So now playing behind closed doors, I think it will be very difficult for them because sometimes the fans will push you. They will push you, they will frustrate the opponents, and Ghana fans are very passionate. They always do that. To go at Chilata, it's very daunting. It's a daunting place to go there. Now, teams will be going there with, they'll be going there free. They won't be pressured by the fans, stuff like that.
But again, when you look at Forest, it's different from Forest, who is still topping the league as it returns. And for teams like Ghana, it's something which we know. It's got a huge following.
Yeah.
And maybe when we look at Forest, maybe the following isn't that, but maybe their fans used to give them that, fighting spirit to say, let's go on. Do you think Forest will still maintain the top position that it's there, looking at the games that are going to be played without the fans?
Yeah, if you look at the way the league is, we have got about, some teams are remaining with 9 games, others are remaining with 10 games. So basically these are finals for each team. These are finals whether to determine whether they stay up or they get relegated. So on Forest Rangers, they don't have a very huge following like Nkana do. So Forest Rangers is all about the team spirit, their togetherness. They are a very united team, Forest Rangers, and very disciplined and well organized. And if you see from the sponsorship side of things, they are doing very well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why they look like they can go all the way and win the title, but it's going to be very difficult because no team has got experience of this kind of situation, playing behind closed doors. This is new for every team. Not even players who have played in the Super League for the last 15 years. It's new for everyone. So now it's all about who hits the grounds running as soon as the resumption of the league is back. And talking on Forest Rangers, they are having a training camp in Mansa.
Oh yeah,
that's where they set up their base. As you can see, they are ready. They want to fight for the title. I was listening on their Facebook page, Taonga Wembia, who moved from Zanaco to Forest Rangers. He talked about he was being frustrated at Zanaco not getting much game time, and then he wanted to go somewhere he can get game time, and just help Forest Rangers to challenge for the title. He's got their vast experiences because he's been with Zanaco, he's played continental football, he's played for the national soccer team at various levels. So he takes that experience to Forest Rangers to help them try and at least win this league or qualify for continental football.
And when you talk of when you talk of a player having game time, that's where the challenging part comes in now, because it's almost, I would say it's 3 months now, ever since the guys had hit the fields. And when you look at it having game time, do you feel like the players are going to have the same momentum and the same ability that they had? Or it's going to be more of... Because if you look at the Premier League right now, if you've noticed, teams with experienced players are the ones carrying the day.
Yeah, sure.
Do you see the same thing happening in our Zambian league?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you look at this break, teams have been having trainings. They have the coaches have been saying that there have been programs that were put in place. They were monitoring their players, but now going back to the field of play, it's different scenario because now you'll be having an opponent rushing at you. You have to make a decision in a split second. It's different from just training at home. This now is real match situations. It's very different because even the pressure is different. So if you look at the teams, I think they'll struggle. They'll struggle for the first 3 rounds of fixtures. I'm sure they'll struggle. And in this, looking at the title race, I think it will favor Zanaco more because Zanaco have got a lot of games in hand. Because the league will resume on the 18th,
18th, yeah.
Yeah, and those is Zanaco playing the games in hand. Zesco United, Choba Grading goes. And then the entire teams will come back on the 1st of August. That's when the league will actually resume now.
So meaning for me, I feel like this will even affect the pace of the players because there won't be a lot of rest time. Looking at August, the league has to start and the games will be loaded. But in as much as we look at Zanaco having a lot of games, because having games in hand, and I remember having a scenario or so a post whereby I don't know if it's one of the Forest Rangers board members who complained over them first playing with Zanaco. I don't know how will that game affect their title race?
I think it will be a challenge because the way they start on the 18th will determine how they will finish, because it's very, very important that they start on a very good note. Sometimes you may not get the result that they need, but they have to put in a very good shift so that they can build the confidence going into the coming fixtures. Looking at Forest Rangers on the 18th at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium taking on Zanaco, it's a very crucial game. Because when you look at the form table in the last 6 games, Zanaco and Forest Rangers are actually the form teams. They have won 5 and drawn 1. Both teams have won 5 and drawn 1. So now they'll be going into this game. They'll be very determined. And then coming to your question about how teams approach these games, mostly the first 10 minutes, I think we'll see the football won't be at, it won't be at the pace that we expect it to be. Yeah, it will be very challenging for all the teams. I think we've seen it even in the Premier League, the Bundesliga, for the players to start adapting to the pace of the game. I think that's why it's week 3, maybe the third round of fixtures. The first games we will see teams coming into the game maybe in the 15th minutes, and then maybe when they reach 70 minutes, we will see teams looking very tired. So that's why we've seen in other leagues they have introduced 5 substitutions to help the players.
Is that also in? Does it also apply in our Zambian league, having 5 substitutions? I
think it's all down to the Football Association of Zambia to make a decision, with the teams. And then we are seeing in England they're having water breaks. But if we come back here to Zambia, this is the cold season. Why should we be having those water breaks? Yeah.
So for me, I was looking at it. Maybe those water breaks were not maybe targeted because of the weather, but maybe they looked at the fitness of players. But I don't know. That's where the issue comes in how one has to maintain their fitness. And looking at coming back to Zanaco, they had a very, very, very bad run before the league maybe went on hold. Do you think the 3 months has given them maybe room to work on their mistakes? Okay,
actually on Zanaco, when Chris Kunda came in, they were in troubles. They were in fact fighting relegation. They were in the relegation waters. Then Chris Kunda took charge of Zanaco, and then it changed. Zanaco, I think, they are unbeaten under Chris Kunda. They have started scoring goals. They had struggled finding the back of the net. And then you would see their goalkeeper, Tostan Sabata, make some schoolboy errors. I remember Numba's last game at Nkoloma Stadium, they played Lusaka Dynamos, of which they lost. Tostan Sabata was substituted in the first half, and Mangani Banda came on as a substitute. And then if you look at Tostan Sabata as an international goalkeeper, that doesn't go down well. You don't have the confidence of the defenders will not have the confidence of their goalkeepers. You make an error from one end to the other, and then it costs the team.
And to everyone who is just joining us, this is Off the Pitch, the first ever episode of Off the Pitch on Camnet TV. You can watch us live on Facebook. You can just like our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and follow all the news. It's the first, just like I said, the first of many to come. Anyway, Augustine, coming back to our discussion, let's not forget, because here we are talking of Forest and more of Charms, but let's not put aside Napsa Stars.
Napsa Stars, yeah.
Because Napsa Stars, again, is just there, maybe a step away from the title.
Yeah.
And looking at how they've adapted, or maybe I'll say, they're the ones who signed Mayuka, right?
Yes.
Looking at his experience and all what he's achieved in his career, do you think he'll adapt that momentum into the guys to fight for the title as well?
Yeah, he will. Towards the final stretch of the season, you need players with a cool head, players with vast experience like Emmanuel Mayuka brings to the table at Napsa Stars. But you've seen he's being introduced to the squad gradually by Muhammad Fati. Will be given 15 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 3 minutes. I think he will help them towards the final run of the season. When the going gets tough, that's when you need players like Emmanuel Mayuka to step up and motivate the team to push for the title. I remember when Zesco United came to Woodland Stadium, they lost by 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the following day, I found Emmanuel Mayuka jogging. Yeah, I think he wants to get back to full fitness because he's really serious. Napsa Stars have given him an opportunity and he's happy. He will help the squad with goals because Napsa Stars, if you look, you see the way they're set up. They're a team that goals are spread. It's not that they've got one player to score all the goals like Red Arrows. They depend on James Shamanga to get all the goals. But with Napsa Stars, it's spread. And I think Napsa Stars' key player, I think it's Dixon Chapa. Dixon Chapa makes Napsa Stars tick, the captain of the side, the holding midfielder. Dixon Chapa alongside John Sikaumbwa, they play a good football in midfield. It's a very good partnership. They let Collins Sikombe do all the attacking and get into good attacking areas to create for the team.
And when you look at when you look at Napsa Stars, it's more of they've been there, but I feel like this season has been a good run for them. Looking at mostly, you would find that they finish on position maybe number 8, 7, 8, going down, just fighting relegation. But when you look, let's look at Green Eagles and Ghana as well, because they are also in the title race. And for you personally, who would you feel or who do you think will carry the day?
I think that if you look at the title race, it's very, very tricky. All teams, I think if you look up to from number 1 up to number 11, GBFC were 11 points away from Forest Rangers with 10 games to go. So meaning it can go either way. Yes, it can go either way, and then we will be playing behind closed doors. Green Eagles are a very organized side, and then their management is doing a lot of help to help the club get to where it wants. They have been playing continental football for the past 2 seasons. Yeah. The captain Caesar Kaluba is also key to that team. Green Eagles, they have got strong characters in the dressing room like Gift Wamundira, who was at Green Buffaloes at one point. They have got Ronald Chewe, who the young brother to the Ghana goalkeeper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has been getting the goals of late in the after Kennedy Musonda left for Power Dynamos. I think he's gone there and he's done well.
Are we removing Zesco from the title chase, looking at the bad spell that they had?
No, not really. Zesco United, this is a team which has got vast experience. Look at the likes of David Odiambo, the likes of Jesse Jackson Were, Jacob Banda, Simon Sirimba. They've brought in goalkeeper Ian Otieno. They've got the right balance, but results haven't been going their way in recent weeks. And I personally feel that the loss of Simon Sirimba through injury, I think it contributed to the
whole thing.
Because we started seeing David Odiambo being played as a right back, and he's a centre back, and then being played at the right back. I think they were very much exposed in that area. You would see when Green Buffaloes, when they are Siame, I think was having a field day on the right because Odiambo couldn't deal with his pace.
And looking at the games, the way they will be played, if I conquer very well, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is something that a lot of Zambian players are not familiar with.
Yeah, they are not used.
That's where I feel like it makes it even more difficulty and more tricky and more unpredictable in terms of the title race. And that's where for me I would say experience would come in. And in as much as we are looking at the title race, there's the top scorer race as well. And when we look at Baba Basile, who is having 15 goals, and his move from LD to Zanaco, which I don't know. In fact, let me find out this. Are all the players who are making transfers going to play, or they have to wait for the registration of next season?
According to the rules, these guys are registered under the current clubs like Lusaka Dynamo. So for this season, they cannot play. They can only play for the coming season. And then if you look at the business that Zanaco is doing, this is for the next season, not for this season. Baba Basile is registered with Lusaka Dynamo. So he cannot go and play again for Zanaco because the transfer window, there are only, is it 2 windows during the season? Yeah. So that's when those are the windows of player registrations. So Baba Basile will have to wait for next season. Baba Basile went on loan from Muza to Lusaka Dynamos, and he had a very decent season at Lusaka Dynamos. I thought Lusaka Dynamos were going to do everything in their power to sign him permanently. But after his loan came to an end, that was in June, July. Yeah, he returned to the parent club, and then they decided to do business with Zanaco.
And let's look at the move that surprised everyone. The move that Samba made.
Yeah, I think I never saw that coming, because Sambalungu looked destined that he was joining Lumwana Radiants.
Oh yeah.
He was even in Solwezi having discussions with Lumwana Radiants. Then that deal fell through. Then some clubs in Lusaka showed some interest, but eventually Zanaco won the race to sign Sambalungu, returning to the club where he played his first Super League game.
Do you think the move had an impact on Ghana?
Yeah, it will. Okay, if you look at Sambalungu's time at Ghana, it hasn't been that fruitful. He hasn't played a lot of games. Yeah, injuries. There were issues with the coaches, never wanting to play him for obvious reasons known to the coaches. But Ghana Red Devils, they look okay. They still have Kelvin Mwanga, they still have Idris Mbombo. Those are the guys who have been doing well for Ghana during the course of the season.
So, before we touch this other issue, for you as in Augustine, I would just love to give your simple prediction on how you predict the final Zambian table, on how it can be after the remaining games are played. Just your prediction.
I strongly believe Zanaco will win the league title. If they continue the form they had before the break, I think they will win the league title. They are very well equipped. Look at the partnership between Chitia Mususu and Roger Kola up front. Yeah, they are getting the goals for Sensation Zanaco, and then they have got a very solid backline with Owusu playing on the right, Zio Tembo, Tiberius Lombardi. Sometimes you see Belchansi Makiesa playing alongside Tiberius Lombardi. They have got Kelvin Kapumbu has grown into a very good holding midfielder in the Super League. Yeah, so I think they are very well equipped. If you look at, they have got an experienced coach, Chris Kaunda. He was part of the under-17, which qualified for the Africa Cup of the Junior Africa Cup Nations for the first time. He was the coach for Patson Daka, Enoch Mwepu. That group which had
shined that they went.
Yeah.
Let's look at you've given a prediction on who can carry the day, but let's look at the relegation fight. If we look down here, there is Beautycon, Nakambala Leopards, Mufulira Wanderers, and Kaisa. I don't know. Looking at all these games that are remaining, these are games that are adding up advantage to each team which is down here to maybe skip some numbers and still be in the league. But how are you looking at the relegation battle down there?
I think the relegation fight will go all the way, except for Cow Youth. I think Cow Youth will be relegated in the coming weeks. They are not well equipped for the Super League. But if you look at teams like Mighty Mfulia Wanderers, Nakambala, Beautycon, they want to fight for their lives. And then looking at Mighty Mfulia Wanderers, I don't think they will survive. The fighters, they don't have enough goals in the squad, and they are not keeping enough clean sheets. So that's their undoing. Their defending is awful. They are not getting goals. I think they are destined for the National League. Yeah.
And then looking at their motto, mostly over here, maybe they would revamp. Looking at what they believe in, to say Mighty are in maybe they feel like they will fight that. And looking at finances, do you feel like these 3 months will affect a lot of clubs in terms of finances?
Very much. A lot of clubs were not active during this period. There are no gate takings. There were no games. So I think it will affect the clubs financially. Maybe those clubs that are well sponsored, they won't struggle that much. But all the clubs worldwide are struggling because of this pandemic. That's the main reason. If you look at the lower leagues they will be very much affected, because you find these lower league teams are being sponsored by individuals, not companies. Yeah, so it will be a very big challenge for them. And Mighty Mfulia Wanderers, it's one club which has got difficulties in terms of finances, and but I don't think they will stay up, because the fight is there. It's too late. It's too late for the fight to stay up. But they did beat Red Arrows before the closure of the break. At Ngoloma Stadium, which was a shocker for everyone. Beating Red Arrows 3-0 at Ngoloma Stadium, their first victory there. I think that maybe they can start up something with TC.
And looking at Red Arrows, it's more of it started the league maybe on a brighter side, and it all reached an extent of it even maybe somehow trying to top the league. But how do you see it coming back to say? Do you think it's there as well in the titles? Like,
yeah, Red Arrows will be the dark horses of the league because if you look at how they started the league, they started like a house on fire because Red Arrows were one of the uniform teams during the transition season. They ended level on points with Zesco United, Zanaco. They just lost it on goal difference. They started well, like a house on fire. They were winning games, but I think the injury to Bruce Msakanya affected Red Arrows midway through the season. And then they started picking up losses, losing games, and then it slowly they started falling down, falling, and now, but they are still in the hunt. If you ask me.
But looking at the move, that is it, Otieno.
Ian Otieno.
Will it affect the team in any way?
I think Red Arrows is one club which has been rich in the goalkeeping department. There's Kenny Mumba, there's Danny Munyao, and there's Jackson Kakunta, who is on loan at Power Dynamos. So in that area, I don't think it has affected the club that much, but it has left a hole in the club because after Otieno left, Red Arrows started experimenting. We started seeing Kenny Mumba, Danny Munyao, then the Zimbabwean who was in goal for the Mighty Mfulia Wanderers game. But if looking at Red Arrows, the problem has been goals.
Scoring.
Yeah, it's always James Shamanga getting all the goals. They haven't been sharing the goals. Joseph Pioke was out injured. I think he came back before the break. You add something to the striking force for the Airmen.
When you've brought up the issue of goals, looking at Shamanga, he's the second highest scorer this season. Mm-hmm. How is do you feel like he can carry the golden boot?
Yeah, looking at James Shamanga and the club he plays for Red Arrows create a lot of chances, but they don't have someone to score. Now they have got James Shamanga. Yeah, they have got Evans Musonda, they have got Bruce Msakanya, they have got George Mandu, they have got Danny Simanda. Those are creative players. Francis Simons are those who create chances for the strikers to score. And James Shamanga is there to ensure that Red Arrows get all the goals. I'm sure he will top the goal scoring chart come the end of the season because if you watch how he trains, he's actually one of the fittest players at Red Arrows, James Shamanga.
Looking at, let's not forget Kola, who also has got a vast experience in terms of poaching goals. Isn't he a threat as well to Shamanga in terms of fighting for the golden boot?
Yeah, he is. If you look at Kola, before the break, he was in very much good form. He was scoring goals almost every week, scoring goals for fun. And he's one player who can score with his head. He can tap in. He's very dangerous. And Zanaco, with their style of play, suits Roger Kola because Sensational Zanaco who all play wide football. They try and get the balls into the wings and put in crosses. And Roger Kola will surely be on the end of some of those crosses. I think Roger Kola is also a threat for the Top Scorers Award.
And we won't leave out Jesse Were. Even if Zesco have been having ups and downs, he still fights to say, hey, I'm a striker and I can do it. I'll still fight for the golden boot. Where do you rate him as at now? Looking at the way the team has been playing so far.
Jesse Jackson Were is probably one of the best foreign players who have ever played our league. And he's very lethal in front of goal. You get the goals for Zesco United. I think sometimes he's been played off in wide areas. Yeah, so I think it has affected his scoring ratio. If he's played down the middle, Jesse Jackson will get a lot of goals for Zesco United.
And for Jesse Jackson, him being, there's this discussion that's going on to say FAS wants to reduce the number of foreigners. For me, I don't know. For me, I look at it in an aspect of, I think the foreign players coming in on board to say they're allowed to play in the Zambian League has made the Zambian League where it is right now. So I don't know how you will come such news, because when you look at the top scorer sheet, there's Jackson Jesse Were, who is not Zambian, definitely, but he's giving competition. So I don't know how you look at the decision for FAS to bring up that decision.
This decision by FAS, it's a good move sometimes if you look at it from another angle, it's a good move, and from another angle as well, it's not looking like a good move, because at the end of the day, you want to be having players who can deliver at the end of the day, not just because they are Zambians. They have to deliver. Let me give you an example of Clement Mwape at Zesco United. Clement Mwape went to Zesco United. David Odiambo was the person who was a regular at the back. Clement went in and started playing as a centre back. We started seeing David Odiambo sitting on the bench. David Odiambo actually is one of the best foreign players who have ever played in our league.
In our leagues, yeah.
So if me as a fan of Zambian football, if I see Clement Mwape stepping in for David Odiambo and Odiambo is on the bench, you would even have the confidence to say this guy can play for the national team, because he's gone at the club where there's a top player like Odiambo, and then he's gone and started. Meaning he's ready for even international football. He can play for the national team. And then if you look at it on another side, some clubs, the foreign players are bringing in jokes. Really, I think we expect players to be better, not below average. They have to be above average or better than the players they have found. You find players. It's just a name that these are foreign players, but they cannot play as good as the young Zambians. Yeah. Sometimes I think there should be some rules that should be put in place to say a foreign player to come and play in the Zambian Super League should have at least played at a certain level of the national team from where they come from. Because some of these guys, I'm sure they come from amateur teams.
Yeah,
they just come with for the name.
Yeah.
And then the numbers, we have got 190 foreign players in the Zambian Super League, the lower leagues, and the likes.
Anyway, before we go to other issues that we have, I've been given to say we need to take a very, very short break, but we'll be right back. Stay glued. And for those who are just joining us, you are watching Off the Pitch, the first episode of Off the Pitch, a soccer show that will be giving information on what's happening in our Zambian league and maybe giving a little bit of info on what's happening abroad. For now, let's take a short break.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You've heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, thank you for still being glued to Camnet TV, which is not just another channel. And our phone line is open. It's an interactive show, guys. You can call in to give out your views and air out your views on how you feel the Zambian League will come. If either it will come with a bang or not. And the numbers to call in are just scrolling there on your screens. And every week we'll be moving up and down, trying to profile players who've made it and those who are trying to make it in the Zambian League. And some time back we had profiled players like Emmanuel Nyanga, who calls himself Di Maria, over the zeal that he has to play like Di Maria, and not forgetting the Zambian international women's defender Fikile, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Fikile Kosa, who also is a Red Arrows player. We once caught up with her and we did a profile with her. So my director, if our insert is ready, let's go to our insert.
My name's Emmanuel Nyanga. I started my career way back. I've played for lower teams like Black Lions, PSA, and I also went for Airtel Rising Stars. And currently I'm at Airport Warriors. I'm number 9. I play as a striker. My inspiration comes from Di Maria. Di Maria is my inspiration, yes. Just fall in love with how he plays, his ability to hold the ball and to dribble. I'm an usher at church, but my career apart from football, I also study purchasing and supply. I think to the current position where we are in the ranking, in terms of African ranking, we are about number 7. So we are going there. It's improving. So far so good. Though this is just my first time like playing Division 1. Straight from Super Amateur, then I went to Division 2 and now Division 1. I think so far so good. I'm enjoying. The competition was very tough. Those guys were representing Lusaka, so I mean, it was a bit tough, but the experience was okay. We enjoyed. Currently, I'm the top scorer with 5 goals. In Airport, we are about number 8, 9 on the log standing. I think we'll probably just finish in the top 4. That's our main target for now. I think in Zambia, I would love to play for Nkana, and I'm also a Nkana fan. And maybe in the PSA also, Orlando Pirates. Okay, I'll start with my favorite, like George Rwandamina. Then, goalkeeper, I'll go for, who's this young guy from Power, Kakuta. Jackson Kakuta, yes. 2, I'll go for the Nkana light back, Gift Zulu? Yes. 3, I'll prefer Lawrence Chung. 4, 5, there's a big man, Zio Tembo, and is it Shamjopa from Bucon? 6, I'll go for my favorite in Zambia, Shadrack Marambo. Then 7, I think 7. 7. Okay, Ernest Mbewe. Yes. Then 8. I prefer I prefer the number 8 from Zanaco. I don't know his name. Yeah, number 9, I'll go for Idris Mbombo. Number 10, I'll go for Moses Piri. Number 11, I'll go for just the swinger, Bruce Msakanya.
Oh, my name's Fiki Lekosa. I play for Red Arrows. I'm a 4-5, I play 5. I think when I was 7, my dad was a footballer, so he inspired me a lot. It has not been an easy thing, but again, it depends on where you come from and the support you have from the background you come from. To my side, I've got a lot of support. My family supports me, my friends, yeah. Being my first time, the experience was just great, and I learned a lot. It's not easy to be part of that team who qualified from Tokyo. It wasn't easy for me, but I'm just happy that I was part of the team. I'm a baker. I love baking. I love being in the kitchen. On my free times, I bake. I think we're getting there. There's competition now in Zambia, so I'm sure by time we'll get there. So far, so good. So far, so good. The Fazi president is doing his very best to ensure that also women's soccer is just being promoted. Yeah. There are coaches and my teammates. They encourage me to work extra hard each and every day. They always tell me that the future is always bright for me once you concentrate. I'll start with Zanaco. I'll start with Toaster. And then 3, I'll start with Toaster. Then 3, Chungu. Then 2. Kelvin. This guy Kelvin. Then 4, 5. I'll go for Zio Tembo and Lombard. Midfielder, I'll go for Kelvin Kapumbu. 7, I'll go for Shtia Msusu. 8, I'll go for... I can name any. Or even Kelvin Mwanga from Kana. Then 11, Charles Zulu. 9, 10, Kola. I'll go for Bruce Msakanya, then I'll go for Chisimbewe.
Kawe Warriors.
Into the next one?
Maite.
Warriors and Maite.
I'll try Davis Piri.
Yeah, you've got that. That's you won it in 1992. The other one?
The other one.
I don't know.
Hmm. 16 times.
5.
Joseph Musoni. Patsundaka.
That's Patsundaka.
Welcome back to our viewers who are just joining us. You are watching Off the Pitch, a sports show the first ever sports show here on Camnet, and there are still more and more and more new programs coming your way. And I'm your host, Amos, and I'm not alone. I'm with Augustine. Augustine, you've seen there, those are the people we profiled some time back, and that's, he calls himself Di Maria Emma, and the other one is she's a well-known player, obviously, because she's been there representing Zambia. But when we look at these guys who are playing in the lower division, like Emmanuel, how do you think they were also affected in terms of the COVID-19?
I think if you look at the players in the lower league, I think they are maybe the most affected players because most of them do not have the necessary equipment for them to train at home. Yeah, and financially it has affected them very much because most teams were going unpaid during this period. And if you look at Emmanuel Nyanga of Airport Warriors, yeah, Airport Warriors are having a decent season. They are mid-table in Division 1. Yeah, under Coach Ken Gaza, who has been doing some great work for at Airport Warriors, because Airport Warriors in the olden years, you would find players who are in the evenings of their career playing for Airport Warriors most of the times.
Yeah.
But Gaza went in and introduced young players who came up to play for the club, the likes of Matthews Mwale, Emmanuel Nyanga. He's brought in a couple of young players from Precision Sports Academy, which is run by Coach Chisenga.
Oh, so looking at it, how challenging and difficult it is, because mostly when we look at maybe the Super League, there is mostly discipline in terms of that. And looking at these guys who are playing in the lower division, how do you think they've sustained themselves during these 3 months which the leagues have been off? Looking at, you've got no one to push you in terms of doing discipline. There's alcohol abuse, smoking. So how do you feel like the players will come in with a bang in terms of them being fit?
I think if you look at the lower league, most of these players, I think they have got the most challenging because most of them you find them abusing alcohol, womanizing and stuff like that. So meaning their form is not like you would expect, because when they are not training, most of these guys are just at home. Compared to the Super League teams, it's a bit different. Because Super League teams are well known, sometimes you cannot misbehave because someone will know that's Sambalungu, that's Ernest Mbeo. But these guys, they're not known that much. So they can do whatever they feel like. I think it will take a lot of time for their tempo to get back to where it was.
Looking at, we saw the profile of one of the women's international, Fikile Kosa. She was trying to keep fit. And we saw the team qualifying to the World Cup in Tokyo. Is it in Tokyo?
Yeah, the Olympics. Yeah.
How do you see it? How do you see it being an effect, like where our players, the women players, being affected?
Yeah, I think the women's team will be very much affected because we don't have a professional league here for the women's, and I saw that CAF want to introduce the Women's Champions League, which will be an added advantage for our clubs so that we can have Andrew Kamanga and his executive. They are working hard in terms of wanting our league to be professional, the women's team. I think it's these clubs, these individual clubs, they have to at least have a women's team which they will be sponsoring very well. Not that some women's teams don't have good sponsors. The pitch where they play from, it's a challenge for women's football here in Zambia. So I think as clubs, they need to take it upon themselves to help Zambian football grow in terms of the women's national team. They have qualified for the Olympics, which is a very good achievement, and we've seen players like Helen Muanga, being captured by a Spanish team. This at least we are going in the right direction. So Football Association of Zambia and the football authorities, they should do a lot to help women's football grow in the country.
Mostly we say football begins on the grassroots, and when we say grassroots, we mean these lower divisions. And in as much as we are concerned, for me personally, I just feel like there there isn't much concentration on these lower divisions, and I don't know how you would suggest FAS, or maybe what FAS you think FAS needs to do in terms of grooming, because football starts in grooming.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would suggest, or how would you advise to say, how would FAS try to revamp these lower division football teams?
I think the biggest problem in these lower divisions is being sponsorship. You would go to teams, you find that they have got only 3 balls and they don't have the necessary equipment to help groom these young players. I think as far as they should take it upon themselves to try and look at developmental football, the grassroots. I think that's where the route we should take, because as Zambia, I think we've lost it, because at a certain point we didn't care more about grassroots football.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what you teach a 10-year-old boy from 10 years to 15, those are the vital years of football. That's when everyone needs to know the basics about football. And then you find that when you look at these lower leagues, you find the coaches who are training these boys are not qualified.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the times in our Zambian culture, you find that if you go into these amateur teams, for as long as the striker can keep the ball, he'll be playing. Even if he doesn't score, he'll be playing. And that has had a problem. It has brought the problem to the Super League. You find Super League players, they can't score 10 goals.
Yeah,
they can only score 4, 3, 2, and the season is over. And then if you ask the coach, why does he play? He will give you the same reason that he can keep the ball. That's what they are being taught at a very young age. As long as you can keep the ball, you can play. So now we have to change our mindset to try and teach the basics of football, how the departmental disciplines, how these players should apply themselves on the field of play, and the movements of strikers, midfielders. I think we need to train a lot of coaches, like FAS is doing a good job in terms of that. Yeah, we need to train a lot of coaches so that they can start at the grassroots level. I've liked what I look at NAPSA. NAPSA Stars, they've done a very good job with their youth team. They are bringing up young players in a way where in the next 5-6 years they'll be playing for NAPSA Stars and pushing for league titles and continental football. I think Zambian clubs have got youth teams. Some of them is just for sure that we have got a youth team, but what plan do you have for that youth team? Is there any short-term plan, medium-term plan, long-term plan? I think these are the lines which our club should be thinking about. We cannot be buying foreign players who cannot even control the ball. Why not groom our very own youngsters so that they can play at the Super League level?
And do you think that FAS is going the right direction for them to introduce the under-15?
Yeah, it's very good, because what matters most is exposure. That's what we lack in the southern part of Africa. We are not very much exposed. So when we go to these big tournaments, we struggle because we never had that exposure before. It's always the first time you play in a very big stadium with a full to the capacity. You look at the facilities that are different from the facilities you are used to. So FAS introducing the under-15, it's a very right step, because players now will be exposed at the international level as early as 15 years. Because the Croatia Football Association, they are invited the Football Association of Zambia for an 8-team tournament, which will be good for the young lads. They will be exposed to different cultures. They look at the different style of football that are being played by other countries.
You know, I think I'll take you back to the Super League. When you talk of controversy, there was a shock move for Julius Tumbeko, which made a lot of people talking, looking at his value of playing and where you would weigh him. I don't know, how was the move? How did you look at the move that he made?
I think Julius Tumbeko moved to Lumwana Radiants. I think it will help him. It's good for him, because Julius Tumbeko was a star at Power Dynamos. He looked like he would be the next big thing in the country when he was at Power Dynamos, but his career came to a still. Yeah, when he moved to Sensation Zanaco, he hasn't had good time here in Lusaka. For playing for Zanaco, he has been sent out on loan at NAPSA Stars. It never happened again for him. Now he's got the chance to try and revamp his career somewhere in Lumwana. Lumwana just look like they have got a very good project, having brought Christopher Muntali. Now they have got Julius Tumbeko. He went there with Zanaco centre back Patience Ikamba. I think they are trying to build the side that will stay in the Premier League and challenge for honours.
Let's look at our players who are in the outskirts. Let's look at the guys who are playing in the PSL. I would start with our very own Lazarus Kambole. Things haven't been well for him ever since he made the move from Zesco to Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, Lazarus has been struggling at Kaizer Chiefs. He's yet to find the back of the net. He's in a side which is... Kaizer Chiefs are the league leaders in South Africa, and they are pushing for the PSL title. I don't know what has failed for him. Maybe it's trying to acclimatize, or maybe the culture itself has affected him, or maybe the style of play under the Kaizer Chiefs.
Would you say the adaptation has been a bit of a challenge?
Yeah, he has struggled very much to adapt. If you look at whenever you watch Lazarus Kambole, he looks out of place. That's what the Lazarus Kambole we knew at Zesco United. He's been struggling at Kaizer Chiefs.
And away from him, when we look at Shonga and Augustine, if we see at Shonga, maybe from the beginning of the league, I don't know if it's because of the changing of the coach. I feel like he hasn't been having a lot of game time, and I don't know how that is. Has he run out of favor of the coach?
Yeah, if you look at Justin Shonga, okay, his confidence is low at the moment. Then the change of coaches with Michu leaving Orlando Pirates, I think it has affected both Augustine and Shonga, because Mokoena came in and he came with a different style of play. Yeah. You would see Augustine would be coming in maybe in the last 5 minutes. He wasn't given much game time. I think the change of coaches has really affected the two at Orlando Pirates.
And not forgetting King David in Tofo Mbesuma, there is that period that he said he's ready to be called back into the national team to represent Zambia. And when you look at Chamanga, there's a point that Chamanga raised to say it's time for new age. My age is done. He refused. Chamanga refusing, but there is in Tofo wanting to be called back. How do you see that move? Can it be a move that can help the young lads?
No.
Having him in camp?
No, I think he's done his time for the Chipolopolo boys, and we are happy with what he has did for the country. But I think it's time for the young players. If Mbesuma comes back, meaning we won't see the next Collins Mbesuma from London United. So he needs to give chance to these young lads for them to showcase themselves. He can be there to be giving advice here and there. That's why they have got the technical bench. Maybe him being part of the technical bench, not just not him being playing. No. I think his time has passed. But he's doing well in South Africa in the first division for Pretoria University. He's getting them the goals. He's trying to help them win promotion.
And when we look at Cletus Chama, there is Cletus Chama shining there in Tanzania? Yeah. Where they just won the league title with the previous coach that we had as the national team coach,
Sven van den Broek.
Yeah, do you think maybe we made a loss over letting him go?
Sven, I think looking at Sven, I think he had very good ideas about Zambian football. I think what we didn't help him was with the technical bench. Sven came alone. He never had an assistant or a physical trainer. All the assistants and the likes, they came from here, from Zambia. I think Sven had very good ideas. He talked about young players in Zambia, they shouldn't be going for trials
abroad.
Yeah, and then he talked about the issue of modern football, technology that has advanced. You see clubs here in Zambia, they don't have GPS monitors. I think those issues, he talked about a lot of issues, and if you looked closely, under Sven, Zambia improved the style of play.
Yeah, true.
We were passing the ball very well, but the results were not going his way. National teams are different from clubs. Clubs, you can go out and buy a player in a position where you lack, but for the national team, you have to use what you have. Yeah. So I think we didn't give him much time.
Okay, anyway, before we come to the conclusion of the show, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and I'll still repeat talking about that's Msika for you. The lowest advertising platform that you can ever have, and it's given to you not by any other channel but by Camnet channel, which is not just another channel, giving you that opportunity and platform to advertise your goods and services at only 150 kwacha. You can come through or call our marketing department on the numbers that were just there on the ad. Augustine, before we wind up, we've seen the success of Patson Daka at Red Bull Salzburg, where Erling Haaland made a move to Dortmund, and Patson Daka saw that as an opportunity to say, it's my time to shine, let me shine. Do you feel like Patson Daka used to be in the shadows of Haaland?
No, not really, because even during Haaland's period at Red Bull Salzburg, Patson Daka was still getting goals for the football club. He was behind Haaland, I think, with 4 or 5 goals before he left for Borussia Dortmund. I think Patson has been developing steadily. He's a player who's very well disciplined and is very much grounded. I think now that he's now the one to lead the attack, I think it has even added advantage to him. During after lockdown, when the league resumes, he helped them win the league title because he was scoring goals for fun.
And do you think all these rumors that are going round circulating to say teams like AC Milan want him, let's assume it's true. If you were Patson Daka's coach, would you let such a player go?
I think as Salzburg, I think they have got no option but to sell Patson Daka if the right offer comes through. That's if the right offer comes through. Because if you look at the way Red Bull, the way they are set up, Red Bull Salzburg, Leipzig, these guys have got a very good program going down there because they develop young players, give them a chance, and then they sell them on. So so Patson Daka, I think now is ready to play in the big leagues in Europe. Because for you to score 20 plus goals in Europe, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not an easy.
Yeah, and then if you see teams like AC Milan being rumored to be interested in Patson Daka, that speaks volumes about how they value him. Just to be linked with a club of that stature, meaning there's something good about Patson Daka.
There's debate going on. We've seen debate going on Facebook mostly. Others are saying no, it's not the right time for him to make a move. Others are saying no, it's the right time. So I don't know. For him, he's just in his early 20s. Do you think he should give it a try? Maybe have another season with Salzburg, 1 or 2 seasons, or maybe he should take the offer when it comes?
I think in football, when really is the right time to move? Because I think the right time to move is when you're at your peak. Erling Brand Haaland just spent not even a season at Red Bull Salzburg, and he moved. He's younger than Patson Daka and he's doing well in Germany. What can stop Patson Daka from going to Germany or England and produce the good things he has been doing for Red Bull Salzburg? I think he's ready for the challenge. He's a player who's very much exposed. He's played at the Under-20 Africa Cup and at the Under-20 World Cup. Yeah, he's played for the qualifiers for the senior national soccer team. There was a time when him and Patrick Ngoma went to Lille in France for trials. I think he has been very much exposed. Now it's the time for Patson Daka to take the next step.
And we've had this scenario where we've seen Enoch Mwepu being rotated by the coach. You'd find that at some point he's playing as a centre back,
as a right back,
as a midfielder. How is that in terms of the rotation, won't it somehow disturb his concentration?
I think more than anything, it will just help him mature because you know what is being required in different positions. When he's being played as a centre half, what is he being required to do? When he's played as a right back, what is he being required to do? When he's played as a holding midfielder, what is required of him? Because Enoch Mwepu was playing as a left wing at some point when he was at the under 17 and even at Power Dynamo's way, it didn't work out for him. Napsa Stars got him, they started playing him as a holding midfielder at first, then they pushed him into an attacking role, and then he's someone who, wherever you play him, will deliver.
Oh, yeah.
That's the good part with Enoch Mwepu. So I think it's just helping him mature and understand the game more.
We've seen him dreaming of playing in bigger leagues, and mostly, if I'm not mistaken, his dream is to play for Madrid.
Yes.
And we saw his performance in the UEFA Champions League against Liverpool. I don't know, how would you rate him? Because for me, I would say the performance that I saw, he's ready to make a move. But is Madrid the right destination at his peak right now?
I think Mwepu is almost ready for any club right now, but Madrid will be a little bit a step too far. You have to play maybe in the Premier League, play for maybe a team which is challenging for Champions League before you play for a club of that stature. Because there's a lot of pressure playing for Madrid. You have to deliver every game. And then if you go to Madrid and then don't perform, it may just dampen your spirit and then your form may drop. But if you look at Enoch Mwepu, he has had a decent season at Red Bull Salzburg. Himself, he said that this has been the season which he has played most games because Mwepu came through their feeder teams, Rieterif, then he moved to Salzburg. He never did going his way when he first joined Red Bull Salzburg, but now he was given a chance, and then he took that chance with both hands. You saw in the Champions League the performance at Anfield, which was recognized by even Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager.
We've seen Liverpool mostly poaching players from Salzburg, Leipzig. Do you see Liverpool doing the same in the near future, maybe come the opening of the season? Are we seeing maybe Klopp going from Mwepu himself?
Oh, that's space. I think that's interesting to see how the transfer market will go. But he's someone, after the Liverpool game, Klopp had a lot of praise for him, how he applied himself in that game. It was a game of a very high tempo. The game was played at a very high pace. I first worried when the game started because knowing Enoch Mwepu is not that quick, because the game, in the first 5 minutes at Anfield, the game looked like it would bypass him. He wasn't getting on the ball, he didn't dictate play. Yeah, then he did adapt, and then he was very good, dictated the tempo of the game, and the Klopp noticed him because he was one of the most outstanding players for Salzburg that night.
And so, like, looking at it in an aspect of whatever has happened, how interested are you in the revamption of the league? How ready are you?
I think it's pretty exciting because you want to see how it will all end. Forest Rangers are in unfamiliar territory, Napsa Stars unfamiliar territory, and then we see teams like Butekon. They are fighting relegation, and I think Butekon can just get relegated come the end of the season because they have had issues. If you look at Nakambala Leopards, Nakambala look destined for the drop. I think they don't look like they can stay up because they have got too much issues. They have changed the coaches. I think it's about 3 times this season. Yeah, and then there was issue of the previous coach, Alban Pande, coming with a witch doctor in the team and the issues of Juju. I think Nakambala looked like one of the teams that will get relegated. We heard the story from Mazabuka that they haven't resumed training. Yeah, because players are not being paid. So we wait to see. It's very interesting to see the title race, the relegation fight, the race for the top scorers award. It's going to be very interesting.
Anyway, for our viewers who are just catching us up, this has been off the pitch, a show that will be giving you information, detailed information over the Zambian league and what's happening to the players, the Zambian players who are playing abroad. And we had a history segment earlier with the guys who we profiled, and they gave us some quite fuzzy answers. And guys, it's very important to know where the Zambian League is coming from, to know our history. And I'll just run through the answers very fast in terms of the question that we had asked the two players that we profiled. The first question that was there was, which two teams won the Zambian League unbeaten, in an unbeaten run? And the answers are, the first team, which is Green Buffaloes, they won the league unbeaten in 1974. Played 26 games, won 19 and drew 7. The second team is Ngana. It won the league unbeaten in 1982, playing 22 games, winning 10, drawing 12. And the other question was, apart from Jacob Banda as a goalkeeper, which other two keepers won the outstanding prize of Player of the Year award in the Zambian League? And this was, the first one was Vincent Chileshe in 1977, and he played for Ron United. The second keeper was James Piri Zanako. That was in 1993. Coming to question number 3. Question number 3 was, how many times has Zambia qualified to the Zambian League? And the answer is very simple. We've qualified to the Africa Cup 17 times. The first one was in 1974. Coming to question number 4. Who is Zambia's most capped player? We all know it's Kennedy Mwene. Kennedy Mwene. Question number 5 was, Zambia under 20 won the Africa Cup final in 2017 against Senegal. Who scored the last goal? The answer was and is Edward Chilufya. For those exciting questions, each episode will be popping up a question to you, our viewers. For you to answer that, you can follow our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV. Like our page, that's where the question will be posed. That's where you'd find the question. To all people who are going to have the right answer, there is always going to be something given out to you. So you can just follow our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, like it, and the question will be just there, the one that you have to answer. And once you get it correct, something comes your way. Augustine, your final words before we close.
I think thank you very much for having me. It's been an interesting show. We look forward to next weekend when the Super League resumes. Yeah, we want to see who will be crowned champions at the end of the day.
Anyway, I think even for me it's the same thing. I'm just looking forward to who is going to carry the day, who is going to be relegated, who is going to be promoted, and looking forward to always giving you information in whatever is going to be happening. So for me, Amos, aka Amore, and my co-host Augustine, it's bye-bye. See you next week, Saturday. We're out.
Bye-bye.